Hello everyone, it is Liam, the Death Dude Metalhead, and today is a collection update of all death metal, of all the extreme varieties of brutal death metal, doomy death metal, blackened death metal, everything death metal. And this is a fixed stack of, bands you may have never heard of. So I'm really hoping you get something out of this video. Happy New Year, I think, to everyone. I haven't actually done a video since that metal tag thing. I'm talking with my hands a lot as well. And yeah, it's cool to just finally sit down and actually do a video and have the time to do it. So thank you to everyone as well that I saw at Dead Winterfest up in Scotland. That was the most surreal gig I've done in many years. I met so many cool people that I've never actually met before in the flesh, but yeah, I knew them all really well. And there was also people that came up to me and introduced themselves, and it was quite overwhelming as well for me, because I don't normally talk to too many people when I do gigs, and it was an experience I've never had to deal with before, meeting so many people in one place. So if I didn't really talk to people that much, I think I did, but if I didn't, I do apologise. It was kind of it melted my mind in some places, and I didn't get to talk to as many people as I wanted to, because I am not good at multitasking at all. So, if I came across as a dickhead, I do apologise, but I don't think I did. But either way, I had a fucking killer weekend. I met so many cool people, watched so many cool bands. It was fucking amazing. If you weren't there, you missed out big time. But anyway, let's get on with this collection update, because it is a special one in a way, because it's a featured one. This is Lifeless Chasm Records out in the States. They sent me a wicked stack of brutal death metal, along with a few other things that I've picked up myself. So we'll go through it all. I will leave links to everything I talk about below. You can check it all out, and yeah, hopefully you get something out of it. So the first one is a Maryland-based US death metal band that are new to the scene. This came out only in 2023 as a demo, and I don't think this is even out yet officially until maybe next week by memory. And this is Entrail Asphyxiation with the self-titled EP. This is on CD as well. What do you get? You get 6 tracks of raw, grindy death metal. There's a nod to Autopsy in this, which I really like, but it has that grindcore element of it as well. So it's got the fast blast beats, but it's got that raw end production with a guitar tone that's very reminiscent of Autopsy, and I really like this a lot. Came on a purple shell. There is a CD up back there, but I thought I'd just show you the cassette because it looks cool. And yeah, these boys, like I said, are new to the scene. Only been around maybe a year or two, if that, as a band. J-card looks like that. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. It really is. This was a massive surprise to me, because I knew none of these bands, and I still don't really know who they are or what they're about, because it's on a scene that's kind of not in my radar. But these boys here, if you haven't heard this, go check this out. Pause the video. It's fucking awesome. It really is. It's brutally heavy. It's raw, and it just goes and it goes and it goes. And it's really easy to put on repeat. So Entrail Asphyxiation, that was amazing. So this is just the start of it. It's already fucking awesome. Next two are another band from the US, from El Paso, Texas. Been around since 2017. One-man project, but I think there's more members in the band nowadays. And these are reissues from last year again. I'll try and pronounce the band name. It's called Nyctophagia. This is their release called Terrified of Tomorrow. It has a Terminator on the cover, so that was already a win for me. I fucking love Terminator. And also got this one here, which is called, fuck me, my eyesight's bad, Prisoners of a Poison Realm. I think this was an EP, this one. But in a way, in a grindcore again, but this is like brutally heavy death metal grindcore. So it's got really cool, thick, heavy production. It just goes. It's brutal, it's heavy, it's aggressive. It's got a really nice mix, so it's really clear. And then that kind of lo-fi, tappy snare sound. It's got the full, thick drum kit. Tape looks like that for that one. And honestly, these are so fun to listen to. That one, I think, originally came out in 2021. And this one only came out last year. But they're both brilliant. They both sound very similar in their production, both thick, heavy, ultra brutal. Nyctophagia is the guy behind the project, but I believe there are more members in it now. But these are brilliant. Honestly, these are so good as well. I mean, I fucking love these as well. These, again, there's like 100 tracks on them, something ridiculous like that. I think there's at least 8 tracks each side. Yeah. But they're amazing, honestly. Really heavy, really thick, really nasty. Go check them out, they're brilliant. And then over in Finland, you don't normally get I suppose you do. There's some brutal Finnish death metal bands out there. And this was one, again, I've never even heard of before, and I love my Finnish death metal, so to add these guys into the collection was amazing. These guys are called Kuvotus. This is their demo from 2020, put out last year on cassette. Again, this is, what, 5 tracks of brutally heavy, but these guys really do sound like Autopsy in their approach, like Mental Funeral era, the very early stuff. They've got a raw kind of grindy sound, but it's death metal. It's not kind of slammy or nothing like that. It's just proper grindy, raw, old school death metal style. Tape looks like that. And even the J card, you know, there's nothing fancy about this band at all. Just a couple of lads from Finland. They formed in 2019, and this is, like I said, their demo from that following year in 2020, and it was released last year on cassette by Lifeless Chasm. And yeah, I love this. This is a really raw, ultra heavy death metal EP demo. You know, no frills, nothing like that. And like I said, in the vein of Autopsy, so it's got that kind of raw, kind of cavernous aggressiveness to it that I really like. And then following on from that, they also did a split with another Finnish death metal band that I can never pronounce the name, Tunkio. All the information will be down there. But this is a split that came out last year called whatever it's called down there. Also, there's a CD version up there as well of this. So if you're not into tapes, you can get it on CD. Comes on a red shell. And both bands are similar to a point, but the vocal style is more of a punky kind of hardcore approach in a way. Not ultra guttural death metal vocals or nothing like that. It's more of a shouty, barky kind of style. So it mixes it up, and it's fresh, it's raw, it's good fun. And this was put out, I think, in 2021 originally. It's only 11 minutes of music from both bands, so it's a very, very quick listen. But yeah, it's fucking heavy, and the cover kind of gives you what you're going to get. So yeah, Finnish death metal, really cool. I really like that. And then this band, the name alone made me laugh, because you always get it with some of these bands, and especially in the grindcore scene, where they just go over the top. And this is one of them. This is a Russian band that have been around a while. I think they formed in 2007. So this is a repress of their 2010 album, Failure Prophesis. And the band is called Coprobaptized Nthunter. I don't even know what that means. But again, this is pure grindcore, ultra heavy, ultra aggressive, in a Russian style. So it's just mental, over the top. And then I'm using my notes, that's why I keep looking over here, just to make sure you know about it. And then this is the EP from 2017 that was repressed last year by the same band, and I can't even read that. Preservation of Delirious Comprehensiveness. And this is like an EP, but again, what's this? 8 tracks. And one of the tracks is called The Meat Song, Stiffy and McDonald's. You know, I don't know why Russians would go and do stuff like that, but they do, you know. It's that kind of approach where it's, you know, that tappy snare sound, so it's like ding, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And it's just 100 miles an hour all the way through. They're insane. But these are really nice tapes. These are only repressed for the first time on tape, I believe. That one looks like that. And then this one's just a plain white one. That looks like that. Yeah, it's just mental. Absolutely mental. If you know your gore grind and your grindcore, you're already going to like it, because they all kind of come around the same sort of style, where it's just ultra intense, ultra brutally heavy, and then the lyrics are fucking random as fuck. So yeah, it was them. And then the last one from Lifeless Chasm is a CD of a reissued album that is very popular in the grindcore scene, gore grind scene. It's got slam elements in there. It's blasts for days, and that is the band Gargling, with the album Depraved Ingestion of Cranial Discharge. Such weird album names, but either way. And this has got a shitload of songs on it, and it is just from start to finish just on the blasts. It's insane, absolutely insane. 2 lads there. These guys come from Chicago, formed in 2019. This came out, I think, from last year. It's their debut in 2022. Sorry, not last year. 2022. We're in 2024 now, aren't we? And yeah, it's fucking mental. Just blast, blast, blast. I mean, I have to be in the mood for this kind of style, if I'm brutally honest. That's not my go-to style at all. I'd much rather take some of the more old school death metal infused grindcore stuff. But this is good, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, and it's fun, and it's fucking heavy, the production is amazing. So yeah, if you're into your grindcore, your blast beats, go and give that a razz. So cheers to Erwin for sending me all them, they were amazing. And I knew none of them, so I really like discovering new music, and it just kind of puts a smile on my face when I really like them. It's kind of hard to review something you don't really like, but I actually got a kick out of all of them in various different ways. Obviously some are better than others to me, but I'll leave links below and you can go check them out for yourself. Now, I'll show you some of the stuff I picked up. The first one is a split. This is a 2024 split from my favourite UK label, Cavernous Records. This is the split between Crypticus and Cropsy Maniac. This is called Cryptmania. Two bands from the US that have been on Cavernous Records before on their earlier releases. Crypticus is formed in 1999. I didn't realise they've been around that long. Out of Denver, Colorado. And these are probably the more death metal band of this split. Brutal vocals, very heavy, very technical on the guitars. And then you've got Cropsy Maniac from, I think they're from Kentucky. Yeah, formed in 2013, and they're more of a thrashy kind of death metal band. I believe Cropsy Maniac is based off a serial killer that used to kidnap children by memory. So you kind of get a vein of what's going on here. They're both really talented boys in that band. I think that Cropsy Maniac is two guys, and I think Crypticus is one dude, but I could be dead wrong. I'm only going by memory. But I really enjoyed this. It's really easy. 5 tracks on the first side, and then 6 tracks on the other side. But yeah, 6 tracks from Cropsy Maniac. So you get a vein of which band is which. They're very distinct in their sound. They don't sound the same at all. So that's quite cool. I like it when splits kind of put two bands together that are similar, but they have a different flavour. So yeah, one to check out if you haven't. That's a wicked split from Chris at Cavernous. Loving that. Now, all the way in Australia now, and I'm quite proud of this one actually because it features my name in the thank you notes, which was a really nice surprise because I had no idea. I only brought the EP to support the band because they're a top bunch of blokes, and that is Aeons Abyss with their latest EP, Insidious Truth. This came out last year. Self-released. The band, I think, self-released everything now. Doing it DIY, their own way. Originally formed as a band of brothers. Got Steve. I can't remember the singer's name, but he's a legend as well because he's got a very distinct vocal style. It's kind of very much like a Rabbit Wolverine. Mental, growly, barky, horrible, evil sounding. They're death thrash, but they have I mean, I know Steve's heavily influenced by Iron Maiden, and you can really hear it in their music. His riffs are very much, if you were to dumb it down on the distortion and the death metal approach, it is very Maiden-esque, his guitar work, and that's why it always makes them stand out to me from the other Aussie bands in the kind of death metal, death thrash style, because they are thrash, but they've got that Steve Harris bass tone going, they've got the riffs that kind of gallop, and the melodies and stuff like that. So I really hear Maiden in their sound, and they're such a nice bunch of guys, and my name's in the fucking book again. Totally don't deserve it, but I'm well happy about it. And yeah, 5 tracks, and then you got 2 bonus tracks on this one. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Very easy to get into, and there's always little surprises because Steve's so progressive on his guitar work. You know, you're always discovering something slightly new on repeat listens. So yeah, loving the Aeons Abyss. Top bunch of blokes. I suppose I better review this for this loser because I met him in Scotland. I've spoken to him for a little while now, but to meet him, and when you can talk to someone and be horrible to them and they're horrible back to you, you know you're going to be friends, because that's what it was all about that weekend, basically, just banter, banter, banter. So this is Ryan's latest project, Grave Ghoul. Ryan is known for more 7 Doors and churning out guitar videos out of his arse every week. He can do it, and he even did one recently of Trenchfoot's song from a live performance. He watched it, he then learned it himself and did a video of him playing it, and it's just like, how the fuck do you do that? I can barely play a chord on my guitar, even not even on my car. But this is a Living Burial Ground, put out through I think this is Dismal Fate Productions, which I think is an Italian label, but I'm not sure. And in true Ryan form, this is just brutally heavy, stripped down death metal with riffs for days. And I do hate him sometimes when I listen to his music and think, how do you do that so consistently and keep it fresh? Because after a while, it kind of, for me especially, it kind of blends into one. You find it hard to write new riffs sometimes, but he seems to just pull them out of his arse. And this is another solid release by him. So I believe he's actually making this a live project now. So I hope he does, because I'd love to go watch that. Lovely dude, and he's a killer musician. So if you haven't checked out Grave Ghoul, please do. Really, really solid release. And I believe there'll be more coming from him soon, because this is only a new project that started last year. And I think he's probably already come up with another 6 projects probably in that time. So that's the kind of dude he is. So yeah, Grave Ghoul, loving that. Now, over in Poland now, and this is a band I've known about for a long while now, and I didn't realise they were putting out a new album last year, and it is killer. So this is Martyrdoom, try and pronounce it properly, with As Torment Prevails. This is their second full-length album put out through Memento Mori, and this is kind of like in the vein of your blackened death metal with some doomy death elements in there, very subtle though. And the singer has got a kind of cross between John Tardy of Obituary and Van Drunen of Asphyx, to me anyway. And I really enjoy it because it's, you know, it's catchy, it's fast, it's aggressive, but then you've got these atmospheric kind of blackened flavours to it. And then the first album was more of a death doom approach to it by memory, whereas this one's got more of a blackened, kind of more technical approach to it in the song structures and the riffs. And it's fucking awesome, really heavy, really, really catchy. And there's an Autopsy cover at the end. Seems to be a theme in this collection update for anyone who loves their Autopsy. In the Grips of Winter is the last track on this album. So yeah, really solid effort from the boys. Definitely a progression from the last album. It's definitely got a different flavour to it, and it's kind of more in that technical kind of blackened death metal. In most Polish death metal bands kind of do that as well, like Hate, even Behemoth, to some of their albums. You know, they kind of go to that approach, and Martyrdoom are the same. It seems to be something in Poland that makes them sound like that. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Still do. Last one of the UK bands, yeah. So this is an EP I've had a little while now, just before Christmas, but I haven't got around to showing it. And that is the last, I think this is the last release from Body Asphyxiation Science, Joss's band. This is his last EP that came out, I think November time, through Gargling Gore. I think there was another label involved. And there's only, what we got, 6 tracks of his progressive, over-technical, in a good way, death metal, because he's an amazing guitar player. He's just fucking phenomenal what he can do on the axe. He's not one of those talented bastards that just kind of churn out anything on the guitar, and it's wicked. But it does feature on vocals a Brendan Dean of Gut Void, Puke Wraith. So if you like him, I think he's Canadian, and he's got an amazing voice. So you got Joss's technical guitar death metal style with his ultra brutal vocals. It's just a match made in heaven. Really, really heavy, really brutal. Shell looks like that. And yeah, fucking a wicked release. I do hope Joss does some more, but I'm not sure. He kind of he changes his mind a lot, so I imagine he might do something totally different to this. Who knows? But yeah, I fucking enjoyed that, and I've got all their releases up there, bar the Fawn split. So well chuffed to have that now in my collection. Right, last two, and I'll leave you alone. So this is an Aussie death metal band out of Brisbane, formed in 2018, and this is their debut full length for 2023. I have their EP from a few years ago, and I always loved it, so it was always on the cards to pick this up at some point. And this is the band Pustilence, with beliefs of dead stargazers and soothsayers. This came out through Memento Mori as well. And these boys kind of play that old school Floridian kind of death metal style, but obviously in an Aussie ultra aggressive way. And this is miles better than their EP. It's just such a step up from what I remember them sounding like. And I had to re-listen to the EP, and I was just like, yeah, certainly a step up. This is brutally heavy. It's fucking riffs everywhere. But what I will say, and I had to have we have like a Facebook chat for all the kind of musicians in the UK that some of the guys created. And I was listening to this, and the very first track has a riff, and I had never listened to this album before, and I already knew what the riff was, and the vocal pattern was the same as well, and it kind of like made me think, what the fuck? I've never heard this before. Why do I know this? And at first I thought it was either Cryptopsy and then Mark from Enchantment said it might be Slayer, and I thought maybe. But then Rich from Malediction pointed out it was actually My Dying Bride Symphony Infernus. So that EP, that really long song they do, is a riff on the first track here, about 2 minutes in, that's exactly the same as that riff off that My Dying Bride song. And I couldn't believe it, and I was like, of course that's what it is, because I'm a massive My Dying Bride fan. I didn't know why I didn't know that. So it kind of pissed me off that I didn't know that. But either way, it was weird to hear that in this, because it was exactly the same style. The riff was the same, the vocal pattern over the riff was the same. So I'm hoping that's just like a nice little nod to it, because everyone knows that song. Even if you're not a fan of My Dying Bride, I imagine you would have heard it, because it came out in the early 90s. But it was cool anyway. I mean, it made me love it even more. And then after that, there was no guessing what the riffs were. It was solid, original, old school, brutal death metal with obviously a modern band. So yeah, I really, really like this. This is a wicked album. So yeah, Pustilence, top blokes. Right, last one is one that Anthony over at Metal Miners made me buy. He reminded me that this is wicked, and I should be checking it out. A really cool band, an Italian death metal band, Valgrind, with their latest called Millennium of Night Bliss, something like that. It'll be down there. Put out again through Memento Mori last year in 2023. This is their 5th full length. They've been around since '96, but I think they only did a demo back then. And Valgrind are a kind of Morbid Angel-esque death metal style, very much in the Heretic production on this album. It's very similar to that. If you listen to Morbid Angel's Heretic, then listen to this, you can see where the influence is coming from. But these guys are brilliant. Solos on here, the melodies, the guitar work is fantastic. Really, really strong. And they're just a fucking cool band. Brutally heavy. 9 tracks, solid death metal. So if you haven't checked that one out, I strongly recommend that, as all of these. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you stuck around to the end, I do appreciate it. Please give this video a like if you're watching it to the end, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'll put all my content around my head for you guys to check out. I really do appreciate anyone who watches these videos, but more importantly, check out the band. So in the meantime, take care. Cheers.